All right, live from the Illinois State Fair, it is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk, broadcasting from the... I'm sorry. That's like the third or fourth golf cart I've seen peel out.
Sharp turn.
Yeah, it's pretty funny to see and hear, actually. But we're across from the Carnival Midway. It's beautiful here. And joining us for Republican Day is the 13th Congressional District Republican candidate, Regan Deering. Regan, thanks for taking time with us. How you doing?
Good morning. Glad to be here with you.
Absolutely.
Beautiful day is right.
Yeah, and thanks to your communications people, I hadn't scheduled this, so you were able to stop in for a few moments. And actually, also thanks to our next guest, Don Gray, for being gracious enough to bounce around the schedule a bit. But let's get right into it. Of course, the 13th Congressional District is a new congressional district. It was drawn by State House Democrats, and you've got a candidate for the Democrats, Nikki Budzinski, who's got a lot of support from labor organizations and the governor. You are a Republican. Tell people what they need to know about you and your background.
Well, you're absolutely right. This is a newly open seat, so a mapped district that's kind of unusual, covers a lot of territory from, kind of central Illinois across the state and then traveling down through some rural counties to the Metro East. So we have a big responsibility on the campaign trail and getting out and reaching voters and talking about issues that are important to us and making sure that the federal government is working for the people here in central Illinois. I'm a lifelong resident, of Illinois, and I think that my experiences working in education as a small businesswoman and as a community activist really sort of put me front and center with people that are facing our challenges every day. And we want to be able to have a government that works for us and really supports, success for all. So I think that is really the message that we're taking across the 13th, Republican or Democrat. We want to get out in front of people and let them know we have a place for them in the party and that we're working for them, because there's so much more that unites us in our communities than divides us, and so that's a message we're taking to the people.
A couple of things that we definitely need to touch on for when it comes to most recent action in Congress. You've got the Inflation Reduction Act. Your take on this and how expansive it is, dealing with healthcare issues, dealing with renewable energy issues, dealing with possible tax implications. It's a pretty large bill. Was it necessary?
Well, the interesting thing, you just rattled off 3 points. None of them mentioned reducing inflation. So I think that people are wising up to this administration and that they're trying to approach election time and get something across to the people that feels like they're providing relief, but they really aren't. We have record high inflation, and none of these pieces to the bill really seem to be tackling the immediate issue, which is getting our gas prices down, getting our grocery prices down, traveling, everything is up, rent. And really, that's the pinch that our residents are feeling. And so while I think that, people are tired of huge, large bills that cover a variety of topics, what we want is smaller government. We want people to know that, we're making good policy that's working for them.
Regan, another issue that's been pretty prominent in the past week and a half is the raid on the former president's Mar-a-Lago estate. This obviously, is something that has caused some Americans to have a distrust for the Department of Justice and the FBI. How do we regain that trust that many Americans have lost?
Well, I think that we're living in an unprecedented times in a number of factors. And I think that, this election that we've got coming up in November is really rallying people to get behind candidates that are going to work for them. This time in this election cycle, it's all about policy and priorities and the people, and it's not about personalities. So I think that people are frustrated, and that's something that we're taking the message to the people and saying, look, we want to be able to be a candidate, an elected official that you can trust, that is going to work for you.
And when it comes to restoring trust in the FBI, we've seen, for 5 years or so, the former president being targeted in a variety of different ways. How would you, as a member of Congress, would you go about working to restore that trust?
Well, I think we need to make sure that, our administration is held accountable. We have people that are hurting right now, and we want to know that our priorities are working for us. We want to be able to have faith in all of our government agencies, and I think that right now the approval ratings are terribly low. And so it's knowing that we've got people like me who are not traditional candidates that are coming from our communities and saying, this is the work we want to do, this is the sacrifices we're willing to make, and this is the change we want to see.
And finally, the 13th Congressional District, as we started, drawn by Democrats, seems to lump in some rural areas with some more urban areas. How do you get your message across to those more urban areas that seem to lean more towards Democrats?
Well, it's just showing up. I mean, we've got a great number of communities in our district that are looking for leadership, and we're going to continue to show up, and we're going to talk about our messaging and just trying to find success for all. We've got great opportunities to really make Illinois shine on the federal level, and so it's meeting people where they are, knowing that they have an opportunity to vote for me as a candidate that will continue to represent them, be a great listener. We're not going to be preachy. That's not what elected officials are for. We're there for listening, and we're there for doing the hard work for the people.
Regan Deering, the 13th Congressional District for the Republicans, with us here at the Illinois State Fair. Greatly appreciate you taking time with us this morning.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Have a good morning.
It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.